Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Everyone together, please. Om Jnana-timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dhina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you all for coming to class. Today is 16th chapter, the divine and demoniac natures. So, today number 8, correct? 16th chapter. Okay. Please repeat. Asatyam, aprishtam te, jagat ahur, anishwaram, aparaspara, sambhutam, kim, anyat, karmahaitukam, asatyam apritishtam te, Jagat ahor anishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat karma hoitukam asatyam apristam te apristaste. Oh, sorry. Jagat ahor anishwaram apara sambhutam paraspam kim anyar karma haytukam. So, okay, word for word. Please repeat. Asatyam, unreal. Aprishtitam, without foundation. Te, they. Jagat, the cosmic manifestation. Ahur, say. Anishvaram, with no controller. Aparashpara, without cause. Sambhutam, arisen. Kim anyat, there is no other cause. Karma haitukam, it is due to lust only. So, translation Srila Prabhupada, they say this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Please repeat. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Purport Srila Prabhupada. The demoniac, or the demonic, it says, conclude that the world is phantasmagoria. There is no cause and effect, no controller, no purpose, everything is unreal. They say that this cosmic manifestation arises due to chance material actions and reactions. They do not think that the world was created by God for a certain purpose. They have their own theory, that the world has come about in its own way, and that there is no reason to believe that there is a God behind it. For them, there is no difference between matter and spirit, and they do not accept the Supreme Spirit. Everything is matter only, and the whole cosmos is supposed to be a mass of ignorance. According to them, everything is void, and whatever manifestation exists is due to our ignorance in perception. They take it for granted that all manifestation of diversity is a display of ignorance. Just as in a dream we may create so many things which actually have no existence, so when we are awake we shall see that everything is simply a dream. But factually, although the demons say that life is a dream, they are very expert in enjoying this dream. And so, instead of acquiring knowledge, they become more and more implicated in their dreamland. They conclude that as a child is simply the result of sexual intercourse between a man and a woman, this world is born without any soul. For them, it is only a combination of matter that has produced the living entities, and there is no question of the existence of the soul. As many living creatures come out from perspiration and from a dead body without any cause, the whole living world has come out of the material combinations of the cosmic manifestation. Therefore, material nature is the cause of this manifestation, and there is no other cause. They do not believe in the words of Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita, Mayadakshena prakriti surite sacharacharam. Under my direction, the whole material world is moving. In other words, among the demons, there is no perfect knowledge of the creation of the world. Every one of them has some particular theory of his own. According to them, one interpretation of the scriptures is as good as another, for they do not believe in a standard understanding of scriptural injunctions. Makam karoti vachalam pangam laite girim yat kripa tamaham vande Sri Guru dinitarinam. Asatyam apristam te jagat ahor anishparam aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat kamahoitikam. They say that this world is unreal, there is no foundation, no God in control, with no foundation. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So, yes, now Krishna is explaining the demoniac natures. Earlier he explained the divine nature. Of course, everyone is ultimately divine because everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Everyone is divine by nature. Mama angsa jiva loke. Jiva bhuta sanatana. Eternal beings. But prakriti stani kashati. They're struggling with the material nature. And so there's really only three philosophies that the humans have got. One is that everything is created by the Supreme Person. That is Vaishnavism. There is Krishna, Bhagavan, and Ishvara Parama Krishna. He has created everything. And that is the deity of these people. And that deity has two aspects. In English the word is moiety, M-O-I-T. Moiety, it means a dual deity. So it's one and different. And that is the Purusha and the Prakriti. If you remember in the earlier chapter, there were 6 questions asked by Arjuna, right? What is Purusha? What is Prakriti? What is the knower? What is this body, the field? Who is the knower of the field? What is the object of knowledge? And how do we attain that object of knowledge? What is the process? What is the avideya? So, basically, the demoniac, they don't want to recognize a supreme person. They want to be the supreme person in their little fancy. And so they refuse or they become forgetful. So then they have 2 philosophies, basically, to take shelter of. One is that this universe within which they find themselves is produced by the interaction of the undifferentiated Brahman, the Nirvisesh and the Nirguna, the vast pool of energy. And this energy is somehow or other interacting with the modes of material nature and creating the material variety. But that material variety is mithya, right? They have their philosophy, Brahma Satyam, that is truth. Jagat, this creation, mithya. So you can see here, Krishna is quoting that. They say this is all illusion. But how okay, it's a word, but how you can say it doesn't exist? We also say it's an illusion in the sense it is not eternality. It is a temporary manifestation. So it's an illusion. Just like this body is an illusion. It is a temporary manifestation. One day it will come to an end. So that which is truth, satyam, eternality, exists. Sanatana, mama angsa jiva loke, jiva bhuta, sanatana. So the soul is eternal. But the impersonalist, Prabhupada's second pranam mantra, Nirvisesha Sunyavadi, that Prabhupada went all over the world and he defeated the Nirvisesha. They say, and they quote the Vedas, that the absolute truth is Nirvisesh. Nirvisesh means without variety, and also Nirguna, without qualities. But Prabhupada and all acharyas in the Vaishnava line, they're explaining that Nirvisesh means without material variety. We see in this material there's so much variety between people, land, water, air, sky. There is so much variety. And Nirguna means no material qualities. The absolute truth, the Param Tattva, has no material quality. He's transcendental. So they have a poor fund of knowledge. And they think that Jagat Mithya, and that I am Brahman, I am produced of Brahman, so I am Brahman. So why search for God? Because I am God. But I haven't realized it. Oh, I've got a toothache. I'm a God that has to go to the dentist. So we're under control in every single way, but we're thinking, I'm part of the Supreme Brahman. This is the Mayavadi idea. So I think that's in the Shastra, isn't it? Mayavadi asakshastram prishtanam bodham uchate. It's what Lord Shiva said to Parvati, that in Kali Yuga, I think it's Padma Puran, is it? Or Guru, I think it's Padma. He says to Parvati, saying, Kali Yuga I appear as a sannyasi and I preach this asakshastram, this impious interpretation of the Shastra, the Mayavadi idea. So you might wonder why. Well, actually that is to clear the field for Lord Chaitanya to come with Lord Nityananda and give the Krishna Prema Pradayate, And then the third philosophy, remember, Supreme Person, impersonalist, is a voidist, Sunyavadi. Yes. There is no absolute truth. It's a void. And so we see that in the material world, right? The scientists said, of course they make a different theory every magazine they publish, but the idea is everything has come from nothing. How it can come from nothing? Because nothing doesn't exist. Or there was nothing and then there was an explosion. So how can there be an explosion? Because in the first place nothing doesn't exist. But they're Sunyavadis. So then they have to say, the Mayavadi says everything is illusion, mithya. But then the material scientists we have in Kali Yuga, they say there is no God, it's just, it's a void. There is just this material energy, and this is what Krishna is explaining here. That everything is explained by matter. You understand? Matter is the explanation. Matter is the explanation of consciousness. Consciousness is produced by some chemical reaction in the brain, and that's why we're conscious. When the chemical reaction breaks down, then they throw us in the ground. There's no soul emanating consciousness within the heart. They just think, and everything has come from nothing, which is pretty weird. There's no logic in that. How everything, because nothing doesn't exist, so how it can come from there, right? If you tell a child, Mummy, I want 2 bars of chocolate. Okay, go to the shop. Get 2 bars of chocolate. But this is a son of a scientist. And so the son says, but Mummy, I've got nothing in my pocket. I can't buy any chocolate. I said, don't worry, your father is a great scientist and everything comes from nothing. So you go to the shop and take 2 bars of chocolate and you tell the shopkeeper, everything comes from nothing. Goodbye. And see what the shopkeeper says. You little rascal, take it. So, this is the modern science. This is the basis of the modern science. They're going shopping with nothing in their pocket, and they're saying everything comes from nothing. So, what can they buy? And so then they explain that it's all like Krishna says here. I think it's 4 points he makes, right? They say the world is unreal. There's just matter, chemical reaction. There's no foundation because it's a void. You understand? There's no Brahman, there's no Supreme Person. In the Gita, Krishna tells us, Matak parataram nanyadkin, that everything is resting upon me. Sutre mani gana iva, just like your beads, neck beads, are resting on the thread. So we know as Vaishnavas that everything is resting upon Krishna. Krishna is threaded through the whole creation. Arjuna has just seen that in the 11th chapter, right? He saw how everything is resting upon Krishna, the Virat Rupa as Rishikesh. So, but they say, no, there's no foundation. But then they're investigating matter and they're trying to explain it. They're trying to find force. And also Krishna says here something very interesting. No God in control. Of course, there's no God. They say it produced and has no cause other than lust. And also in the word for word, it says aparaspara, without cause. So, but they are investigating science, right? and they're trying to find the cause of the creation, right? They're trying to find the cause of the molecular structure, the DNA, why it is, but there is no supreme cause, there's no initial causal factor. So it's very contradictory. But they want to find a cause that they can define in terms of matter. But they will 100% fail, because the cause is Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir. Anadir means he is the original source of all entities. Everything is rooted in Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam. Everything is cause. Everything is divine, like this picture. Did it come out of the void, or did a painter decide on it? He decided. If Prabhu plays nice music on his traveling harmonium, does it come out of the void? And if everything came out of the void, why isn't that happening every now and again? Right? You open the fridge and suddenly there's a universe being created in the fridge. And you say to the wife, why is this universe in my fridge? And she said, it came out of nothing. What can I do? If that is a principle of creation, close the door and it'll disappear. It has no foundation. You close the door? My God, you're a scientist? No, I was down the pub drinking, because everything is phantasmagoria. So this is the material world. They have no logic, but it's propagandized. And they're taking vast quantity, and they are producing phantasmagoria, like the moonshot, right? Oh, how many billion did they take from the poor taxpayer? And they went on a 7-day, 8-day journey to the moon, right? They came back. And all the photos, even the machine itself. But the thing is, very easy. They had no lithium-ion batteries then. How did they go for 8 days in a cold environment, the vacuum of space, depressurize the capsule, come out, put on their suits, walk around, repressurize the capsule, fire it back up, and with just batteries that they got from the corner shop, 29-volt batteries. Can you imagine how much battery power you must have to go 8 days in outer space, run all the computers, repressurize it and everything? And they had no batteries in those days of any quality. Maybe they found a recharging station on the moon. And they recharged the batteries. They had enough to go one way, and then they recharged on the moon, down in the crater where nobody could see them, putting on their coat and saying, get the camera right, hey, get my profile. It's all illusion, because they are casting illusions, you see. They are casting illusions. They're liars. So that's the two philosophies. So the demoniac, as Prabhupada said, they say everything is just haphazard, by chance. But Prabhupada says they're very expert in enjoying the material world, right? They're planning very much. So, but they only want to enjoy matter. There's no conception. But the yogi, his idea, the divine person, his idea is he wants to fix on Purusha. Like we said at the beginning of class, there is Prakriti and there's Purusha. There's Radharani is the Swarup Shakti, Prakriti, and there is Purusha, Ishvara Parama Krishna. So this is the thing you'll see all through the universe. You'll see Hari and Lakshmi. You'll see Shiva and Parvati. You will see Brahma and Saraswati. You will see a man and his wife. This theme is throughout the universe because it's Sarvakaran, it's a production of the original theme. And at the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it explains that Radha and Krishna are one, but they've separated themselves eternally to enjoy the bliss of pastimes. So that is the reason for creation. It is simply for enjoyment, the bliss of pastimes. Krishna has created unlimited spirit souls. Why? To enjoy the bliss of pastimes with him. Just like a great musician doesn't want to play alone. He wants to play in front of an audience. He wants to give pleasure to his audience. He finds the audience inspiring. So Krishna is Atmaram. He's self-satisfied and all potencies are within him. But he's not static, he's ecstatic. He's fluid, he's Leela-mayi. He wants to enjoy pastimes. And so he has three categories of energy. He has the Chit Shakti, which composes the spiritual world. He has the Achit Shakti, which is the material energy, and he has the Jiva Shakti. And there's great variety in between those, and there's interplay between them all. And so Krishna has produced this variety, and he has given independent will to the Jiva Shakti. You can choose to go this side, you can stay with me, you can go into the material energy, you can do all this, and I will enjoy rescuing you from the material energy. You can have this, you can do this, you can be free, I will facilitate everything. I will even give you the intelligence to be Hiranyakashipu. I will give you the intelligence to be Ravana. But karma phal. There's the law of karma. And so I'm telling you, you may say there's no cause and effect. You may be a scientist looking for a cause of the DNA. Did you know, I once read that in each cell in our body, there is a DNA molecule. And if it was taken out of the cell, it would stretch to the moon. Do you know that? I read it. The DNA molecule has so much, it has information for every single cell in our body. And the information is so vast that if you unraveled it, it would stretch to the moon. I read it, and of course it's a scientist, maybe he was drinking or something. But I read it and I think, well, that's really amazing. I don't know if I'm not going to try, but that's one molecule. So at the time of Darwin, when they created the evolutionary theory, they thought that the cell, because they knew that there were cells, when you break down the body, you go smaller. They thought that the cell was like a little bit of plasma or a little bit of fat. They didn't know that inside each cell of our body, it is more complex than London. It's more complex. All the things, they have messenger RNA, they have DNA, they have a power station, they have things. It is actually more complicated, with more information than the British Library. In the DNA molecule, the way it is all fastened and the sequences. And they discovered the DNA, and then they thought it's all junk. 90% is junk DNA. Only 10% or is that. But now they're saying, no, the other bit is also useful and this and that. So it is called aroha. It means the ascending process that they're employing on the material energy. And what it means is that they perform sensual inquiry through eyes, pratiksha. Yes, pratiksha. They use their senses to get some information from matter, and then anuman. They interpret that information. They get a cell or a DNA molecule and they examine it and they get some information and then they speculate about what that information means. And then they put it into a scientific document. But there's one thing you cannot say, and that it was made by a supreme, potent, transcendental personality, or else they'll throw you out of the university. Right? This is Kali Yuga, right? You can do anything, but don't say that looks like it's been designed. I'm reading a book and I'm thinking, there was a printer. Don't say there was a printer. You're a fool. Get out of my library. These books came by chance. The DNA molecule with all that information, designed by somebody. But Professor, I see you got designer shoes on. Oh, well, they came by chance through the post. So this is, and it's all propaganda. And if you want your degree, I remember when I went to college actually, I was in the first year, and another fellow student in the second year told me, the first project was, we had to write on what is instinct. So I wrote something, 6,000 word essay, what instinct was. And it came back very good, but very unusual. Because what they want you to do is to look in the library and quote from this and that, but I just made it up. So I showed it to my friend and he said, look, don't try to be intelligent, you're at college. Find out what the tutor wants, what the professor wants, and give it to him. And then you'll pass with flying colors. Later on you can be intelligent, but when you're intelligent, I mean, if you're actually intelligent, just give the professor what he wants. And so I thought, okay. And he says, what you do is, because I mean, I shouldn't give too much away, but it was a college, it wasn't exams at the end, it was under continuous assessment. You had to write an essay every 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and it was assessed in your thing. So you used to have to go to the professor and say, what shall I study now? So my friend told me, don't ever do that. Go to the library first, find something that you can write on, a subject, and then go to the professor and say, I'd like to write on how Shakespeare's English affected the sociology of the time. There's already an essay and a whole bunch of commentary on that in the library. So you go to, I'm interested, dear Professor, in how Shakespeare English affected the country of the time. Because he was very good. What a good idea. Do that. Come back in 2 weeks. So that's what I did for 3 years. I passed with flying colors. But all my friends were going to the professor. I don't know what to do. So the professor told them something, investigate sociology in northern Macedonia. So the point is that they are the people in illusion, and you have to massage their ego. But if you don't do that, if you're a rebel in the academic world, you get the boot. It's just like if you write a PhD, that there is design in the universe, you won't get your PhD. You have to follow the peer group. You have to get so that from the great men, the wise men. So in this way, the illusion carries on. It's called, different writers call it the circus of fools. They're all just fools, scratching each other's back, patting each other on the back. So this is voidism, and so that, at the end of the last chapter, remember it said, Yomam, those that asamudho, that are believe in me, janati purushotam, without doubt. Sarvavid bhajati mam, they perform bhakti to me, and they are the knower of everything. So what does that mean? Asamudho means they're not bewildered, without doubt. That means they've realized that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so those that haven't realized Krishna and Krishna's position as Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sarva Karana Karanam, those that they are bewildered in the material world, using pratikshva to gain information, and they're speculating, and they're writing scientific journals full of speculation, and they're going with the flow to get their salary and not lose tenure and so on and so forth. But it's all illusory, because, and they will carry on for millions of years, because they don't recognize that everything is sprung from a supreme person, even though that is the most obvious thing. So modern science is just 4 words. Nothing, bang, everything. That's 3 words. And then you examine it and you interpret it back to nothing. So it's nothing, bang, everything, examine, and then conclude that it's nothing, bang, everything. You have to go in that circle. Now, a Vaishnav looking at or a theistic scientist, he will look at the everything, which means the material creation, and he will say, there's everything, I'll examine it, and I see design in everything, so therefore there is a designer. Right? Their idea is nothing, bang, everything, examine and interpret back to nothing, bang, everything. But the theistic person looks at everything. The material scientist also looks at everything, but the Vaishnavas look at everything, guided by the Shastra, Janati Purushottam, Ishvara Parama Krishna Anadi, and he looks at it and he thinks, there is obviously design. The way the universe works, the way the seasons progress, the way the child is produced in the womb, the way the elephant has a long nose. That isn't by chance. The giraffe's neck isn't by chance. The camel doesn't go across the desert with no problem, because by chance. The birds didn't start flying because their ancestors were falling over a cliff, and those with big arms grew wings over millions of years and then started to fly. According to that theory, that if you threw elephants over a cliff every day for the rest of time, eventually their ears would grow big enough to fly. Because the elephants with the biggest ears would live long enough to have babies with even bigger ears. So that is their theory, that we came out of the primordial soup, maybe from one of their restaurants, and we came on the land, and we developed, and then we jumped back in and became sharks and elephant. Whales. We came out of the primordial soup. We walked around the land and thought, some of us thought, I prefer it back in the soup, and jumped in, and we became whales, about 100 tons, before we were a little molecule in the soup. And then we became a 100-ton whale. Thank you, Mr. Scientist. Do you want another grant? 6 million to investigate how soup became elephants? This is what they're doing. And it's all propelled by this idea. Say anything, do anything in your academy, but don't say there is a supreme person guiding it all. They go home and the wife is cooking dinner, designing dinner, but when they go to work, they say, no, there's no design in anything. Hey, this soup is awful. Don't you know how to cook? I don't know, it just happened by chance, my darling. Everything is just by chance. The kids are coming home from school by chance. They may go to next door neighbor's house thinking that that's their place by chance. So this is bewildered. This is their philosophy. And so you see that in the atheistic world, that it's all everything is speculation. And all the philosophy is speculation. But it's all based on one principle, how to enjoy prakriti. Right? Like a few classes ago, communism is one idea of how to enjoy the material world. Capitalism is another idea. Globalism is another idea. Socialism, National Socialism. Every philosophy of the political world is based upon one thing. How to enjoy matter in a particular way. So this is the material world. But the yogi, he is practicing manmana bhavamad bhakto majadi. So he is performing karma yoga. He believes in a supreme person. That's what it means. Sasavavid bhajati mam. I have this, it's a good translation by Manu Swami, and he explains that the Sasavid bhajati means the devotee, the person who recognizes the Supreme Person, knows what Dharma is and what adharma shouldn't be. He knows that. Privrittim cha nivrittim cha. It's in the Shastra there 2 or 3 times. What should be done? Dharma. What is adharma? What should not be done? And Vishwanath says it, and Prabhupada says it. I looked at both, and he that because the Supreme Lord speaks to his and guides his devotee from within the heart. He guides his devotee. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. So karma yoga can be performed, that's stressing on my material occupations, but it should be performed with bhakti. It should, I'm doing my material duties as a man, as a woman, as a child, as a teacher, as a tom-tom driver. I'm doing it as an offering to Krishna, but I'm doing with priti purvakam. Okay, I'm a jnani, I've got a big brain, I like to study, but I should study in the mood of bhakti. Oh, look how how my Supreme Lord is, how He has created this world. Look how wonderful are His Leela. Look how wonderful are His devotees. So he should study with that devotional Priti Purvakam. And then the pure bhakta, he has overcome sinful activity, he's overcome aparad, he's getting nam ruchi, he's fixed, he's seeing everything is the Leela of Krishna, he gets nam ruchi, he gets saiva bhav, he becomes more and more attracted to Krishna in a particular relationship, he develops bhava and he develops prem. That is bhakti-yoga, sanatan dham. So that is the difference. And we can choose that. We focus on Purusha and the pleasure of Purusha, or we focus on Prakriti and try to take pleasure from Prakriti. It's really that simple. There is Purusha and Prakriti. The three divisions of Prakriti, Chit, Achit, and Jiva Shakti. You can look at Prakriti, forget Purusha. Don't talk to me about Purusha. I want to enjoy matter. But the yogi, whether it's karma yogi, jnana yogi, bhakti yoga, he is put manmana, madbhakto, in a devotional way. I am going to fix my mind on Purusha. And then he becomes realized in sasasava vid bhajatimam. And what does Krishna say earlier in the Gita? What is that? Janma kama tame divyam evam yovadi tatvata takva deham panarjanma naitimam meti sarjana. That if you realize that Krishna and his Leela is transcendental, then you'll never take birth in you. That's your entrance. That is Purushottam Yoga. Learning about the Supreme Purusha. And then that is the qualification. And Krishna, oh yes, he's interested in me within, and that means it doesn't matter if you're old, young, male, female, whatever your situation, you just turn to Purusha and you pray. And now in Kali Yuga, how do you turn? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And you go, oh look, Krishna, I'm a fool. What is that verse? Janma, I have taken this human birth, but I never worshipped Radha and Krishna. I'm just a fool, Krishna. Krishna in the heart. Nityananda. Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda. Just give me some bliss by which... And so bliss becomes the guiding path back to full realization of Krishna. This is actually how kartum, susukam kartum avyam. Bhakti is susukam. It is performed happily. So when we are on the path, our sukham, our spiritual bliss increases. Bliss becomes our guide back to Godhead. That's how we know we're on the right path. So a devotee is on a path of increasing bliss. The materialist is on a path of increasing bewilderment. So and therefore, Lord Chaitanya said, look, philosophy is a little but much for them, but go on and do Harinam Sankirtan. So they hear the name. They're like Magrari Hunter. Magrari was turned from being in a very bad condition to becoming a pure devotee. Just like Jagai and Madai, they were turned by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. So that is the duty of somebody who is a devotee of Lord Chaitanya. And Prabhupada emphasized that you are doing Harinam, you're reading Bhagavatam, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, you're learning about the spiritual world, you're fixing your mind in devotion on Purusha, but now pull everyone. And that's how this is how ISKCON started, because Prabhupada gave sadhu sangha to everyone he met, because he was a real sadhu. So that's what we have to become. We have to become sinless, free of aparad, develop real bhava for Krishna, and then everybody will become a devotee automatically by sadhusanga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, any questions?
Yeah,
The Grand Inquisitor. Yes, go on.
Big atheists like Dawkins and Hitchens. Hitchens has passed away, of course. Are firmly convinced.
Did you call him a dork?
Dawkins?
Richard Dork, did you say?
Dawkins.
He's a dork?
No, it's Dawkins.
Oh, Dawkins, sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, they're firmly convinced in themselves that they're, like this verse says, that there's no one in control, everything's come from nothing, and there's no intelligence behind anything. And
well, speak for yourself, Mr. Dawkins.
They don't have three heads or pointed teeth or...
Sorry?
They don't look any different from anyone else. They don't have pointed teeth or, different heads.
Oh, well, that's very interesting. But
they're called demons.
Right? Yeah.
So how did they come to this point where they're...
Because they don't accept Purusha.
Everybody else?
Sorry? Well, that's very... No, sorry to interrupt. Yes, so the question is, they don't have horns and everything, right? Well, that's because you've been reading the Bible too much. I remember I got the Gita by mail order. I was studying under a professor at the time. He was, anyway, he was a big professor. He was Vice Chancellor of Cambridge. And he gave me a reading list, one of the Bhagavad-Gita. And so when I got to this chapter in the Bhagavad-Gita, I was amazed. Because I'd been brought up in the Christian grammar schools my whole life, with monks. And, they take you to the church every now and again, and the priest says, if you die with a mortal sin, you're going to hell forever and ever. What's a mortal sin? Looking at a girl. And then there's demons coming out of the ether. But then I read this, the Bhagavad-Gita by Prabhupada, and I was just amazed. This wasn't ethereal, poetic, figurative, metaphorical demons. This was demoniac people. So much wealth do I have today. He is my enemy, I have killed him. He is my enemy, I will kill him. I will have money, I will increase. There's none so powerful and wonderful as me. I'm surrounded by aristocratic relatives. I will give in charity and rejoice, and everyone will know my splendor. Right, that's the Gita, right? So I read that, and I said, that's absolutely correct. And it's not some guy, in the shadows with horns, making the Ouija board jump here and there. It's actually the guy you're sitting next to on the subway. And so then also another lecture by Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, actually every materialist is a demon. Prabhupada says that one, and I heard that, and I thought, wow. Every materialist is by definition an asura. Why? Isha vasya idam sarvam yat kinjat jaganam jagat tena taktena bunjida magrida kashrita. Everything is controlled and owned by the Supreme Lord. Therefore you should only take what is your quota and not be lusty after other people's things. Understanding. So the materialist is a thief. The Prakriti is meant to be enjoyed by Purusha. But the materialist is saying, no, God, Purusha, go away, I'm the Purusha. So he's a thief. He's a thief. He's saying this world is for me, and there's no Purusha. That is like someone breaks into your house and said, this house is mine. You come back from work and he said, no, it's not your house, get out. He's a thief. So he's saying to God, Purusha, this is my material world, and you can go over the hill. Huh? Right? So everyone is an asura in the material world. That is the asura, that is at the beginning of the 7th canto of Bhagavatam. The asura is somebody who's strongly in the mode of passion. Asura. Not very pleasure, it means asura. So he's enjoying the material world. The Rakshasa is strongly in the mode of ignorance. And he is an evil, twisted, sexually pervert, child exploiter, child molester, devoid of kindness, psychopathic in the material world. That is a Rakshasa. Rakshasa means to be protected. So Rakshasa means a class of beings that is evil that we have to be protected against. That is Rakshasa. So that is the tamasic person who is crude, angry, short-tempered, vicious, psychopathic, sexually perverted. That is the Rakshasa. The Asura is somebody, oh, you chant Hare Krishna? Good for you. And I remember we used to go on Sankirtan in London every Saturday night. We'd go down the entertainment area near Trafalgar Square through the Soho where they have the clubs and the drinking and the theatres. And sometimes we'd go down the road and, late in the evening, 8 o'clock, you're a Sankirtan man, and the people would, sometimes they'd come out of the pub and they'd be, they weren't too drunk at 8 o'clock, they were just inebriated. And there'd be like 50, 60 of us going down the road. And they'd come out with a glass of beer and they'd start shouting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So that's the Asura. He's not perverted evil like the Rakshasa who's into a power and control trip. It's just like, okay, you want to chant Hare Krishna? So, okay, we're also dancing with you. Why don't you stay longer? Oh, you're going to Trafalgar Square? Okay, see you next Saturday night. So, the Asura is not so bad, actually, in that sense. But they're just ignorant, you see. But the Rakshasa is into control. That's his buzz, you understand? So his sexuality is about domination and twisted behavior. But the Asura just wants to enjoy. And the Deva, though, is in harmony with the material nature and is meditating on the Supreme. He can go to Turiya, he can go to transcendence easily. So, yes, in the Christian or the Bible and this, they have the idea of jinns and evil. They are there on the subtle plane. Because we're on Bhuloka, and then above that is Bhuvaloka, the realm of spirits, disembodied beings. And they are, but there's a rule that they cannot possess somebody unless they're invited. Generally, that is they are envious, they don't have a material body, they can't enjoy. But if you invite them through a Ouija board or through some ritual, they can come into your life in a very dangerous manner. And they will promise you everything, but they're liars, they're demoniac, they're on the subtle plane. But, so, the devotee, by chanting, by purity, by studying Shastra, they don't come near a devotee. It's there at the beginning of the Bhagavatam that the devotee, by chanting, all ghosts and spirits leave that place. It's just light. Criminals come out at night. Ghosts and demons look for darkness and evil behavior. But they don't want to come to a place where people are chanting, eating prasad, acting nicely. They don't come to Bhagavatam. Yeah, they don't come to Bhagavad-Gita class. Maybe they won't come. Yeah. So that's what I mean. It doesn't suit them. It's their vibration. They can't come. So there are demons right in front of you, next to you on the bus. But everyone, to a certain extent in the material world, is demoniac, because, or at least bewildered. So actually, for a devotee, there is the Supreme Lord. He worships Supreme Lord. He makes friends with devotees, family of devotees. He is merciful to the Balisha, those that are just ignorant but not very envious. And the Rakshasa, Upeksha. Don't get involved with them. Stay neutral. Leave them in the hand of Krishna. If you find that you're a Rakshasa, is just, okay, yes, thank you. Nice to meet you. I'll see you maybe after you've been in the material world another 1,000,000 births. But for now I've got to go to the temple. We're bathing the deities. So that's upeksha. That means don't try to convert the Rakshasa. Don't keep them at arm's breadth. Just say, yes, you're right. Yes, everything came from nothing. Seems like your brain did too. So those things are there. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
No.
Not at all. What is your question then?
My question was that these they're intelligent men. They have they're very high IQs, and in that sense they're intelligent. But they believe that everything, like this verse says, that everything has come from nothing. There's no intelligence behind everything. They're firmly convinced within themselves of this. So convinced that they're trying to convince others. They're preaching this all the time.
Yeah.
So how do they come to this point? Even though they're intelligent, then their intelligence is taken away by Maya, of course. But how do they come to this point where they're so
Natevadu Shasakatim hi Vishnu. Like at the beginning of Bhagavatam, they do not know that the aim of life is Vishnu, Purusha. So they don't have intelligence. Donkeys may elect a big donkey. So amongst fools, they elect a big fool, right? So don't say, as you did, if you don't mind me saying, they have high IQ. No, they don't have any. High intelligence means to see everything within Krishna and Krishna within everything. That is high IQ.
They have the ability to convince others of their theory also.
But they're also, it's just like ignorant preaching ignorance. Everybody, particularly in Kali Yuga, what does it say in the Shastra? Manda samanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadruta. That in Kali Yuga everyone is disturbed, slow, lazy about spiritual life.
Ill-advised.
Yeah? Huh?
Ill-advised.
Ill-advised, mahabhagya.
Getting to my point, why is Krishna giving them the ability to be able to convince others?
Well, that's his mercy, that's his karma. Krishna's in the heart giving advice, but he doesn't stop your decision if you insist. Just like, thieves come out at night. They don't go thieving in the day. Well, maybe in America they do now. But what I mean to say is, they know they're doing wrong, but they insist on doing it because they're demoniac.
You know that they'll be caught one day?
Yeah.
It's like, love.
So why does Krishna give them intelligence? It's karmic. It's karmic.
Yes.
Yeah, that might be karma, but why is their karma giving them the ability to convince others?
Well, that's their desire. Their desire.
They may have been innocent, but they're being preached to by these.
Well, there may be, but you're saying maybe this and this and that. But everything is interlinked, actually. According to karma, we take birth in a certain family, a certain situation, this and that. You see, your question is on the basis of by chance. preaching this. By chance they're convincing others, but it's not by chance. No.
There is a cause.
Huh?
There is a cause.
Yeah, Krishna says later in the thing, is those that are envious and mischievous, I cast them into lower and lower species of life until they become completely demoniac. So it's not happening by chance. That's the whole conditioning that the materialists like to propagate. It's all happening by chance. Richard, these atheistic scientists, they're determinedly against the Supreme Lord. And they will speak about God, but it will always be in the negative way. If you don't believe in God, why are you always talking about him, Richard Dawkins? You understand? Why, if there's no God, why are you becoming an atheist? Why aren't you just doing something else? They're obsessed. They're rebellious. So they go into lower species and they continue in this way and that and that. Don't you understand the point?
I think it's more that they're agents of karma because they're in very high intellectual circles and they're convincing a lot of people. I mean, evolution basically is where this philosophy is situated, and convincing people of evolution. So many books and so many schools of thought are wrapped up in evolution now, becoming more and more popular that people don't
No. I don't think so. I think evolution is kind of like dying. It's dying out, evolution. More and more people are rejecting evolution.
I don't think so. It's becoming more and more popular.
Nah. Anyway, that's an opinion. But what I'm saying is that these material philosophies, they come and go. Just like communism, of Stalinist communism is gone now. Nobody wants to follow Stalin or Lenin. So Darwin and his evolutionary theory will fade away. Everything else fades away. And they come up with a new entertainment of atheism. It's just the way it is.
And actually they are full of doubt because they are wrong.
But the point is, it's all done by desire. It's all done by desire. That was the whole, this is the floating on the lake of desire. Everything is moving on the lake of desire. People, demons, rakshasas, everything is moving according to desire in the material world. And it's all supervised by Paramatma. It's not, and like I say, they may define themselves and certify themselves as high IQ and this qualification, but there may be big donkeys, and they may be a little bigger than small donkeys, but they're just donkeys. Don't you see the point? If you don't see, the reality is that Krishna is within everything. Everything is within Krishna, and Krishna.
I don't understand the demonic mentality.
It's a rebellion against the Supreme Lord. They're called outlaws. Just like in society, people that don't follow the rules of society, they are criminals. So the ultimate criminal, outlaw, is somebody who doesn't recognize Purusha. It's as simple as that. And that is a matter of choice and habituation to sinful sensuality. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. So just like a devotee over many lifetimes cultivates bhakti, but a demon over many lifetimes cultivates rebellion to Purusha. Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,